versus Wolfe.
Koenig versus Wolfe. Clay Koenig, Doug Wolfe. And Happy New Year to you. Happy 2024.
Happy New Year.
And I think this is an interesting topic with these iPhones and iPads and all that other stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting that article came out a couple of weeks ago from Cox Media Group stating that they have artificial intelligence that can listen to your smart devices, phones, TVs, Alexa devices, stuff like that, and then take all that information and then target specific ads to the people that are your potential customers, basically. So they talk about intrusive, and this whole thing started about a couple of weeks ago. I was having just a conversation with an employee who is not a clothes hound, but he was talking about buying a belt with his wife. Sitting on the couch saying, I need a new business belt. This one's getting a little frayed and so forth. So it's a couple hours later, they're having dinner. He picks up his phone and he's served an ad for a business belt.
Which he would never have had any.
Yes, he's never gone to the internet, never gone to his phone and asked about it. And it's clear that we're getting listened to.
4 or 5 years ago, and I was watching a replay of it on YouTube, the U.S. Senate had Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Facebook, and some guy who was the head of Instagram at the time. And they're asking these guys about this issue.
Okay.
And Zuckerberg and this guy from Instagram, our phones don't do that. Absolutely not. They were emphatic. But I used to do a radio show. And every so often, we'd have a topic that we'd be talking about on the radio show, obviously not using our phones. And a few hours later, I pick up my phone, and there's something along the lines of the topic that we were talking about. Let's say we were talking about a Ford truck. All of a sudden, I've got ads for Ford trucks.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, they talk about how intrusive television advertising is. I mean, look at this. I mean, they're listening to your conversations that has nothing to do with the phones whatsoever. You're having an everyday conversation. Your phone's by it, and they're picking up every word.
And there are companies that obviously believe this is happening because one of the apps you go, this is great. One of the apps you can buy to kill this tracking is called DuckDuckGo.
Okay.
Quack, quack. DuckDuckGo. And their whole campaign advertising is how Google can't spy on you. But to get the app, you have to go through Google Play.
That's just another, like Internet Explorer, just another basically DuckDuckGo, correct?
I'm not sure, but it basically says that Google can't spy on you and all these other companies can't spy on you either.
Right. So what do we, I mean, honestly, with all this spying going on and they're using it for advertising purposes, this television station, we just went over to 3.0 basically for our transmission signal. There's no listening technology that we have. There's no active listening. We basically go out to people, talk about who they want to target, and that's how we put together our campaigns. We don't have anybody listening in on our conversations.
Don't you wish we did, though?
Well, that's another editorial and discussion all in all.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Koenig versus Wolfe, and this week's topic is your smartphones. You're being listened to on your smartphones and TVs and everything, your devices.
Now, like with YouTube, if you look at a video, and I'm not saying it's picking up your voice, but if you look at a video, let's say you were interested in buying a new vehicle from Bloomington.
Okay.
All right? If you look at a video about buying a new vehicle, whatever that vehicle is, you suddenly start getting other videos.
Oh, they're capturing that data for sure.
Through their algorithm.
Right.
Not quite the same as the intrusiveness, but I mean, I took the kids to Disney. My children are adults, so we go to Disney and hit all the restaurants and that kind of stuff. Looked at one restaurant for months. That's all I got were Disney restaurants.
You know, it's funny. I talked to our digital director, you know, over the whole company. About 5 or 6 years ago, I was kind of in a fishing spurt with my kids. We had this interest to go fishing. So I went to Walmart.com and I picked up a Zebco 33 rod and reel. 30, 40 bucks, something like that. Something cheap, right? Throw in the pond. To this day, 5 years later, every single day I get an email ad served from Walmart on the Zebco 33. It's been happening for 5 years.
And you haven't bought another one since?
I haven't bought another one since. I haven't looked them up. I haven't done anything like that. But what it's saying is that all this is 5 years of wasted advertising. Honestly, because I bought that rod and reel that day. Yeah. 5 years later, I'm still getting served the ads.
Yeah.
It's all garbage.
There was a charity one time. This goes back quite a few years. I gave them $10 at Christmas one year. And for years, they were sending me mailers through the mail. And I swear they probably spent way more than that $10 I ever gave them.
To count on your donation.
To try to get more donations.
Yeah. So where do you think all this technology, we talk about AI, the artificial intelligence, now we've got people listening to our smart devices. I mean, you even see on the Alexa, the ones with the camera, they have the sliding switch on top to take off that camera because people think they're being watched, which it wouldn't surprise me. You know, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, we know police can track your cell phone.
Sure.
They go to the Verizon or AT&T. We got a warrant, track that phone.
Right.
So we know that technology exists. Okay. You know, maybe they claim that they don't listen in on you. I can't say prove it, but prove it. You know?
And what's funny is if the only way we're going to get rid of this is to get rid of the phones.
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah, it's not happening. But I mean, we survived all of our lives without phones.
I know. I was
know?
in my 40s before I ever had a cell phone.
Something different.
Did that. I mean, they came out with what, iPhones in 2007, 2008?
Yeah,
so
I think you're pretty close.
It hasn't been that long ago.
It hasn't been, but the technology is just leaps and bounds. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the first cell phone that I had, I remember, I mean, it was like in a bag.
I had the bag phone.
With the big magnet on top of your car.
I had the bag phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paying $4 a minute, I think, for the service.
Oh, it was outrageous. But boy, I tell you what, I was cool.
Well, let me tell you something. And back then, I mean, you thought all this technology was the cat's pajamas compared to today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I was pretty upset when they weren't selling bag phones anymore. Man, that was nice.
The flip phones.
Flip phones, yep. Oh, the texting was horrible, though.
The Blackberries. Remember the Blackberries were huge at the time.
But the flip phones to text, you had to go like each number, you had to go
that's
three
right.
times.
Yeah.
You know.
What a pain.
And then when iPhones came out, it was just basic alphabet.
So, well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate it. Happy New Year again.
Yeah.
This year, the topics, I think we're going to get into some good ones. I think it's going to be a great
we
year.
have politics this year, too.
Yeah, we do have politics.
We can discuss that once in a while, young man.
I will try and discuss it without yelling or punching.
Okay,
something.
good. I'll make no promises.
Excellent. Thank you, Doug.
That's a warning.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. And we'll see you next time on Koenig versus Wolfe.